Hey, McKenzie.
Hi, how are you?
Great. It is so great to talk to you because I got to say, I don't watch a lot of TV because I'm super busy, but you know what? Face Off is a show that I've watched right from the beginning, every season. I'm caught up, so it's such an honor to speak to you on the phone.
So great to speak with you. Thank you so much.
So we're going into, it's crazy to think, already season 10. Now, what's in store for the new season? How are you guys going to step it up from what's in the past?
You know, it's pretty crazy because I always think that, how on earth can we up our game? How can we top it from last season? And we do it.
Yeah.
Our challenge department just comes up with the most unbelievable challenges. Our contestants this season, they really are across the board of talent and backgrounds, which makes it exciting, and different personalities. And then our guest judges. We have an unbelievable array of guest judges. We have everyone from Paul Rubens, as many know as Pee Wee Herman, to Lance Henriksen, to Galen Hurd, and then Jason Blum is an exciting one that we bring in towards the end, who, really, he's in the know of movie making.
Now, for anybody who doubts that you are the person for this job to be hosting Face Off going into season 10, you have a huge background in this. I guess tell us a bit about that, where your families come from and how you got here.
When you're talking about background, in a nutshell, my family has been doing makeup for 100 years.
Yeah.
My great-grandfather was the wig maker to the King and Queen of England, and at the turn of the century he came over, had a shop on Sunset Boulevard. This was during the silent film era. Actors did their own makeup. There was no such thing as a makeup artist on a set. And Adolphe Menjou was doing Three Musketeers. He'd shaved off his mustache and didn't know what to do. So he ran into my family's shop. They sewed together a little piece of hair lace wig, glued it on, and that was the birth of a makeup artist on a movie set. And so during that time, too, my great-grandfather taught my grandmother how to actually hand-tie and curl false eyelashes. And those were the first false eyelashes in Hollywood. They were the first ones ever made for Hollywood and movies. And then you have my grandfather who did Gone with the Wind. My family did 10 Commandments, Creature from the Black Lagoon. They had a makeup line back then. Marilyn Monroe was a spokesperson, Rita Hayworth, Ava Gardner. They invented the Bette Davis eyes. So there's a lot of great history there. And then you have my dad, who is 9 Emmys, an Oscar, a star in the Walk of Fame, 18 years with the Star Trek franchise. And, when I was growing up, I always loved acting and loved that side of things, but I was always by my dad's side. And, when he was home, he had a lab attached to the house. And so I would help him out in the lab, and then I took makeup classes down the road. But, I continued on then in the acting field and went on to do a soap for 10 years. And, on and off throughout my career, I sat in the makeup chair for decades, watching the makeup industry change and watching applications and products change. So I have my own little knowledge of the makeup industry. But, coming together now with my dad and doing this together and walking around with him in the lab has been incredible to see, and to bring, this our family's history now today and continuing it forward is so much fun. It's fun that we get to do that.
How have you seen the industry change over the last few years? Because I know, years ago, the practical effects was how it was, and then it kind of went into this whole CGI thing for a while. But then now it's almost like we're back to that practical effects level with the new Star Trek and the new Star Wars movie. They're actually physically in the movies now. They're building these things again. Yeah. So that must be amazing to see this resurgence in Hollywood.
It's amazing to see this resurgence, and thank God, because as great as CGI is, nothing can beat that practical, visual feeling. You see it in like you mentioned, Star Wars.
Yeah.
You can tell what's practical, and you can tell what's CGI. And I could nail it every time I saw it. And it's amazing to see the practical, and even for the actors when they're working. I know for myself when I was doing acting and I had to work with either a green screen as opposed to something practical, it was always so much better and so much more fun. And they always got the reaction they wanted out of us as actors so much better when you're dealing with something practical. It's so much easier to act against something that's really there as opposed to something that's going to be put in afterwards.
Now, I think people love it too because the magic is just is there, like you said. Now, I've done a lot of interviews with a lot of Star Trek cast members, and we've done panels at Comic-Cons across Canada, and it's always the one question that comes up. I just did one with Nana Visitor from Deep Space Nine, and everyone always asks, how long did it take to get the makeup on every day? It's a crazy process that people don't really appreciate.
No, it is a crazy process. And when I did the promos for Face Off, and they turned me into 3 characters, I was a tropical bird, I was an ice queen, and Medusa. And that was an all-day process. That was about 4 hours, I would say, per makeup, with maybe a 10-minute break in between. Mm-hmm. So you're talking a good 12-hour plus a day that I sat in the makeup chair, and that's what it's like. That's what a lot of these actors have to go through. They sit there for hours and hours and hours, and you can't move. You have to stay still.
So when they're shooting the show, then how long are the days? Because what we see on TV, we're seeing an edited down hour episode. But are they in the shop like all day, like sun up, sun down, and then they edit that down later on, or how does that work out?
Yeah, it's a couple days. Each episode takes about a couple days.
Wow, that's incredible. That is absolutely...
It's a lot of work. I give a lot of credit to every contestant that comes on because it is a lot of work.
And it's all from scratch. Like these guys are building this from scratch, and the sheer talent is absolutely amazing to see how you can start with an idea and then turn it into an actual, this character standing on the stage in front of you.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it blows my mind because I get to give them the challenge and then to see what they are sketching all of a sudden turn into a live creature on a model is just mind-boggling.
Now, any favorite moments looking back at the past seasons going into season 10 here?
The premiere that you're going to see is amazing. One of my personal favorites is the one coming up, I think it's next week, with Pee Wee Herman, just because I'm such a huge Pee Wee Herman fan, and anytime we dive into the world of the funny, the whimsical, which we do a lot this season, actually. We've had a lot of viewers and fans say that they would love to see more of that, and we listen to them. Sci-fi is amazing about listening to the fans and what they want. So you will see a lot of funny, whimsical challenges coming up. So next week's is a really fun one. There's a cool one down the road that's all about genies. We have one that's taking these beautiful women that are princesses. So think Snow White, think Sleeping Beauty, but what would their evil side look like?
Wow.
So that's a real fun one. Yeah, there's some really great challenges coming up. And then there's one that's actually more realistic, where it's taking FBI, CIA, what would it take to turn somebody into looking like somebody else? If they had to go out on the field for our government and you had to turn them into another person to not be recognized for the agent that they are, the secret agent, how would you do that? So a lot of really cool different challenges this season.
Wow, that's amazing. Just when it's 10 seasons in, you think you're like starting to maybe run out of ideas, but no, you guys just keep reinventing yourself.
No.
That is absolutely incredible. Well, before we go, people want to know more about the show or about you. How can they find you on Twitter, social media?
Yes, I'm very active on Twitter. So I'm at McKenzie Westmore. It's McKenziewestmor, no E. I am on Instagram at @MWestmore, so please follow me. I love putting up photos, and you'll see lots of behind-the-scene photos. What I love to do is I'll take a lot of behind-the-scene photos myself, and then I hold on to them, and then I release them with each episode. So what you're not going to maybe see on the internet, you'll see a whole other side of my point of view of the show.
Now, that's the biggest question for the end, I guess, is if you had that one golden rule for becoming a successful makeup artist and doing this for film, for television, what would it be, you think?
The number one golden rule, I would say, is kindness and humble. To be kind and humble and be able to work with others is so important, and then obviously a natural talent. But that can be taught. There is a natural talent, but you can teach talent. You can't teach kindness.
All right. Well said. Well, thank you very much for your time. It's great to talk to you, and best of luck in the future. And hopefully I'll talk to you at season 20.
Yes, and I have to say hello to all of my family in St. John's, Newfoundland. My mom is from St. John's, Newfoundland. So I just had to say hello to all my Canadian family.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much, McKenzie, and best of luck to you. I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.